Thank you, Ian. God bless. Before we introduce our next speaker, real quickly, I know we had a rally again, I think it was March of last year, and it was, small turnout. And we managed to shut down the phone lines for this building for 3 days. Their mail system was full. Their paper ran out of their fax machines. They couldn't work because their email was so overloaded. And we need to do that again this year. We had 56 bills. And at the end of the day, 24 made it all the way to the governor's desk, 12 of which were, roughly 12 were vetoed. So we have to keep that same passion and that same ideal in place moving forward into this legislative session, because we can. And we have, I think, February 23rd is the last date. So right now we're looking at roughly 6 or so new bills.
I think it's 7 right now.
7 right now. And then we've got a few that are being rehashed. And hopefully it won't grow much beyond that. And if we're lucky, we're going to have a much more focused fight coming up. Now, for those of you who've been following the gun roster and the Ruger story, don't hate Ruger. They're not doing this out of a political decision. Basically what happens is Ruger continually updates their firearms. We managed to get a hold of the CEO to get their record straight. And something as simple as changing the type of material or shape of the fire pin means you need to re-register the gun as brand new, even though it's the same model number. So all of Ruger's line of handguns now has to be re-registered, and therefore falls under the new microstamping law. Yeah. So they're trying to get they've paid the money, they've passed the test as far as the physical test, it just doesn't meet the microstamping rule. Now, the SAF and CalGuns has also updated their Penna versus CID case. Oral arguments were heard in October. We're looking to get a ruling here between 90 and 120 days from those oral arguments, and we hope that they'll fall in our way. If that's the case, we can get that entire handgun roster tossed. So we will definitely update you guys as that moves forward, but we are making headway. Judge Ishii is also, he's presiding over the case of the 10-day wait period. The 10-day wait period was he actually stated this on the record in court, and it makes the sense and makes the argument. A right delayed is a right denied.
Good point. Yeah.
Based on that, we're hoping that his ruling will be in favor of us, and we should also, within 90 to 120 days of oral arguments, get a ruling on that as well. So stay tuned, stay involved with CalGuns, stay involved with GRAA. California's opposing gun restrictions. We will get this, and we will stay on top of it. We'll let you guys know. We'll give you guys phone numbers, email addresses when the time is right. So stay tuned. Next up, we have a gubernatorial candidate, Robert Newman, and he had a few words. He was over at the gun show today, and he decided to come over and check us out. And he has a few words to speak now.
Thank you. You didn't mess it up. My presentation is going to be very brief and to the point. I'm a person of action. I will use words today to acquaint you with me and my candidacy. I am a candidate for governor of the state of California by God's call. You'll notice my voice. It has changed a bit. No, I'm not maturing. I'm doing a lot of public speaking. And basically, I'm a mild-mannered metropolitan newspaper reporter. And I grew up with dairy and on a hog farm. I'm very involved with agriculture in California. Because you see, we must eat every day. And we do not eat the Delta smelt. Now, to the point, the Democrat and the Republican parties represent a machine to which those candidates are loyal once they've been elected. I've been involved in the Republican Party for a number of years, but I'm no longer a member of the Republican Party. I'm a member of the NRA. And as he indicated, I am at the gun show here at Cal Expo. Last weekend, we were at the Cal Palace. The weekend before that, at another gun show, and I've even forgotten where that is, or was. But I have found that the Second Amendment people are patriots. They're not killers. They're not the enemy of the state. They are patriots. Along those lines, I will continue to be at gun shows, acquainting people with my candidacy, that I will represent you and the people of this state to establish a beachhead here to be the beacon, the shining light for the rest of my country. I am here to protect Second Amendment rights. Now, I will not do that through the legislature primarily. That already has been referenced. You see, the governor has the power of pardon. When I'm elected governor of the state of California, I vow and want to be held accountable for my words. Please, some of you, record this today, that I will pardon any individual, business, or organization that's been convicted of one of the ridiculous gun control laws in California. Some of them have been referenced here today. When I am governor, even if some of them get passed, convictions will be pardoned as soon as the judge says guilty. This will not, that is my position, will not change the law, but it will change the enforcement of those laws. Thank you. Because they are unconstitutional. Any interference by our glorious federal government that is unconstitutional will not be enforced in California. Along those lines, we need constitutional sheriffs in every one of the 58 counties in California to make sure our rights are not violated by, I know this is hard to believe, by law enforcement officers. You see, many people take the oath of office when they accept a public job, but they don't even know what that means. And so they willy-nilly violate people's property rights, privacy rights, ownership rights. That will not happen in California, and I need the assistance of constitutional sheriffs in California. We have a candidate, a fellow believer, whom I know very well, in San Bernardino County. His name is Paul Schrader. He is a constitutional sheriff. I am your constitutional governor. Now, with respect to government and us, today it's government against us. That is a sad movement that's happened basically in my lifetime, and I am partly responsible. I have been a believer in salvation through Jesus Christ since 8 years of age. I had my birthday in Sacramento and San Francisco last weekend because I spoke to a group of patriotic motorcycle riders right around the corner. There were about 5,000 of them there. It would have been nice if there were that number of Second Amendment people here today. And I will not change my principles of living. I am not a politician. Mark my words. I make decisions based on principle, not on self-perpetuation. I will do that when elected. I will represent you. I call what I am doing the California Revolution. I invite you, if you have the guts, to join the California Revolution and get me elected to represent you. Face to face, I will interact with you. Then, as I do now, I don't sit around the swimming pool drinking pina coladas. And I intend to be with you and available to you as constituents, as people. God bless you. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Robert, for coming. Pleasure.